Hey guys, it's Max. Welcome to Max Talks Episode 2, the show where I talk and I don't spend hours upon hours editing the video. So it's a little bit more simple, a little bit more opinionated, so welcome. So today we're going to talk about why I waste so much money on Apple products. Now let me rephrase a couple things before I get into it. I don't think I waste my money. I think it's fairly well spent. And not all those Apple products are mine. Maybe half of them I've paid for or a little bit less. Some of them are something I've sold already and then I've borrowed. Some of the stuff is from Apple Insider, so not many of you guys know, but we actually create some content for a company called Apple Insider. It's a website that's been around since about 1997. They're very, very popular, and they've recently launched a YouTube channel, and they contract us out to make videos. So some of the stuff you see here is completely theirs, just sent in so that we could do videos on it. Actually, a decent amount of the stuff you guys saw. Now, those videos, if you guys want to go check them out, you can, but they're not all my opinion. Majority of it is scripted by other writers, journalists. I'm either doing the voiceover and editing and shooting some B-roll and shots for it. Some of the stuff, it's not even my footage. We're just taking their footage and their scripts and putting this stuff together for them. Some of the stuff is my opinion, like if you've seen some stuff on like the MacBooks and stuff like that, where clearly it seems like my style of a video, that is more my opinion. So just be aware of that if you go check out their content. So it's just one of the companies that we work with as a video production company to basically bring in income for ourselves and be able to pay ourselves and our bills and everything like that. So that is some of their stuff. Now let's get into the video. So why do I spend so much money on Apple products? So there's a few different reasons. The first reason being they create some good products. So I know not a lot of people agree with that. It's very controversial. A lot of people think it's overpriced, and technically it is more expensive. I would definitely not agree by that, and I don't know why people are shocked about that. It's always been the case. Apple products have always been more expensive, and if you're just looking at spec sheet, they're overpriced. It's not a shocker, and they've always been controversial, getting rid of ports, getting rid of CD drives, getting rid of floppy. They've always been the first to get rid of stuff, and it always makes people upset. But a couple of years later, the whole market shifts a little bit, and everybody loves it because, well, in 2 years, you have 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports instead of 1 on your computer, and so you can do a lot more with it. So on top of that, they create some great working products and enjoyable products. So this is the first kind of reason. I switched over from Premiere Pro and from Windows computers to Apple devices probably about 2.5 years ago, something like that. Before then, I used Premiere Pro for a very long time and used Windows computers. I actually built my first Windows computer when I was 9, and I've built probably close to 30, probably over 30 computers for family members, friends, different people asked me to build them for myself. And so I know Windows really well, I know Premiere Pro well, and the reason I switched over is just because of optimization. This is something Apple is so incredibly good at. They're choosing their own hardware, they make some of their own software, their operating system in Final Cut, and they just put everything together and it works so well. My biggest frustration was when I built a computer that was over $3 grand, 6-core, water-cooled, overclocked, the best graphics card that was available, and Premiere Pro was just really slow. So on the actual software side, Final Cut is a huge reason why I spend money on Macs specifically, because it could actually take a machine like this, $2,400. It's a laptop with a mobile graphics card, mobile CPU, and it can edit 4K video faster and more efficiently than spending $2,400 on a Windows PC that has, twice as better specs, a lot more powerful, but the software is not efficient. So with Final Cut, for example, stabilization, which is something we do so often, it could stabilize for about 25 seconds, 26 seconds, a 20-second 4K clip, which on like an 8-core Titan graphics card would take about 3 minutes using Adobe Premiere Pro. Of course, the inefficiencies aren't with everything in Premiere Pro, but a lot of it is there. It utilizes the graphics card all the way, the processor all the way, and that's how you get a much slower spec sheet computer and you're editing faster. And if you own a video production company and you're doing this for a living, that matters. If something takes you less time, you're making more money or spending less money doing so. And so that's just one huge reason is Final Cut. I love it. I still use Premiere Pro. In fact, I'm still paying right now, I'm paying for Premiere Pro, a monthly subscription. And at times we do use it for the tests, we use it. And sometimes if I'm doing like a collaboration project with somebody who uses Premiere Pro, we'll use it too. But I love Final Cut for those reasons. There's other things in the software like the magnetic timeline that helps you edit faster. If you're using titles, they're so much better than Premiere Pro. So that's one reason. Now on the hardware side of things, spec sheet isn't always everything. If you're looking just at the spec sheet and then you compare that to, say, a Dell XPS 15 or like a Razer Blade 14 with the 1060, and I'm doing a comparison between these computers and the newest MacBook Pro, it seems like, wow, this Apple computer has worse specs and it costs more money. What is the deal? It's so overpriced. But then you're looking at other things like, well, how well does the screen work? The Dell XPS screen is nice, but this screen is super bright, it's glossy, it's very sharp, great contrast, and Apple's been caring about a lot of these areas that don't really show up on the spec sheet as much when you're looking at processor, graphics card, RAM, stuff like that. How about the trackpad? It's huge, but not only is it huge, it just works so well, and Apple computers have always had the best trackpads. It's enjoyable to use, and you can actually edit on this without using a mouse if you need to, and it works well. How about the speakers? They're so loud, they sound so good compared to the other two computers, which are either they sound good but way too quiet, or are decent loudness, not as loud as this, but sound much, much worse. So there's a lot of things that Apple cares about, which is not only the spec sheet, but actual daily usability and enjoyment of the machine that makes a big difference. You're not only buying a spec sheet, unless that's all really you care about, but if you're using it all the time, it makes you just appreciate and use the product more. And as well as all the optimizations like Mac OS, it works really well. Of course, it has its own glitches and stuff like that, but it's much less than Windows machines. For example, this machine, I just booted it up. Right when I set it up, there's driver crashes. I need to update those. And then my right click doesn't work. And Windows 10 is, I would say, the best Windows operating system to date. And then all of a sudden I do the updates, my right click works, but my start and my search buttons don't work. So less glitches because Apple is controlling a lot more of it. And for example, on the iPhones, on these, for a long time, they only had dual core processors compared to like faster quad core processors and 8-core processors. But in just usability, it'd be faster. Opening apps, smoothness, crashes, stuff like that. And then also on benchmarks like Geekbench, it would still be taking out all the Android devices because Apple's doing the hardware and the software, and it works so well. So those are really the biggest reasons why I spend my money on Apple products. I don't always agree with all their choices, all their decisions, but in general, they make some great products. And another thing is the resale value is so much better. So this computer is $2,400 for this spec sheet, and I could literally have it for a year and maybe sell it for about $2,100 used. So the resale value is just ridiculously well, and they last, for the most part, they last better as well. So if you look on your local Craigslist, there's gonna be stuff from like 2006 MacBook Pros or different Power Macs that are still selling, and people are still buying them, and they're not $100, $400, $500, $600 compared to a Windows machine. This is one of the best resale value for Windows machines because it's a Razer, it's great quality. A lot of people want to buy these, but something like this, you would buy it for $2,000, and then maybe after a year you can sell it for maybe $1,100, $1,200, and that's good for a Windows machine. A lot of times you'll buy something for $1,000 and 6 months later for $500, nobody wants to buy it. So the resale value is really good. So if you're not only looking at that initial price tag, you're also thinking about what will I do a year or two from now, or 3 or 4 when I'm ready to sell it? Do I just have to just get rid of it, donate it, or can I actually get some of my money back? That's another thing that you have to consider. So let me know what you guys think about this video. Hopefully it makes it clear why I spend my money and why I think it's worth spending on certain Apple products. Let me know if you guys have any examples of why you spend money on Apple products, or if you don't agree, if you think all of this just doesn't make any sense. Let me know why you don't spend your money on Apple products. I'd love to hear you guys' opinions too. So thank you guys for watching. You guys can hit that subscribe button if you guys want to see the comparison of these two really nice machines. compared to the latest MacBook Pros as well. And I'm going to link both of these in the description. I'll link the MacBook as well if you guys want to go check those out, the spec sheets and stuff like that, what's going to be in review. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Max Talks Episode 2, and I will see you in the next video.